Words are powerful, part two. Okay. So, words, back to words. Okay. Because I really want people to like, just do an experiment. Like, try to change your word, the way you word for 1 week. Call it words for a week. Okay. That's called the words for a week challenge. How about that? So for one week, you go and you say nothing but positive things out your mouth. Nothing but positive things. And if you look around everywhere, I don't care if you're on a train full of people. I don't care if you're walking down the street. I don't care where you are. If you look around, you'll always see something beautiful because there's always creation of beauty everywhere you look. It's just that you get bogged down in your own perceptions and you think your life is so stressed out. You think your life is the worst life on the whole world. You think out of 7 billion people, you got the worst life. Like, some people really think that. Out of 7 billion people, I got the worst life. And you live in a country that got plumbing and indoor, all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you ain't taking a dump out in the woods, you ain't in nowhere close to being with the poorest people in the world. Like, come on, you ain't got to shit where you eat literally without flesh. Like, you ain't the poorest person. So it's all about your perceptions of what you think is really going on in your life. Like, you think and I understand, and everything is valid. Every emotion, every feeling is valid. It's valid. So I don't want to say that people don't have those real emotions, that they don't really count, they don't matter. But what I want to say is this, right? So I, I'm a spiritual person, so I'm going to talk about all religions. When I reference information, I'm not going to only reference to the Bible. I might reference to the Quran. I might reference to like other books of spirituality. In the Bible, right? Remember when there was a part when they was asking Jesus about what should I eat, and should I eat pork, and is this going to defile the body? And you remember what his response was to people? When the lady, I forget what part of his New Testament, of course it's Jesus, but they asked him about what he should be eating, or if this guy is defiled because he was eating, like, I guess, a pig or some kind of animal that was considered to be unclean at the time. So the response the response see, you know what it is. People don't look at what Jesus' life really was. Like, Jesus was an example, and so much of his life has been taken away from us. You get a few scriptures sprinkled in the New Testament about this man who lived for 33 whole years, and they knew from the time he was born. The three kings came to celebrate his birth. They knew from the time he was born he was a big deal. There was a whole world knew that. That's why three whole kings came to greet this man with gifts and give him all these things. So he was so special and was so great, and we all knew. And three kings from three different kingdoms from three parts of the world came and showed his respect. How come every single part of his life hasn't been documented the way it should be? Think about that. Why hasn't it been documented the way it should be? If they knew from the beginning, and three kings had enough scribes and people to follow him around to document his life and take care of him, there's so much of the life that we don't know. And that life was a special life because it was an example. He was showing you there was a power inside of you. When he said, I am God, he told them when he was being crucified, ye are gods. Ye are gods. Crucified the man because he was telling people he was God. I'm God. Father is in me. I'm God. And ye are gods. And so much of his life, you don't know what he was doing when he was 12. But we know at 12 he was he was preaching to the Pharisees and the high priestess, as if he was a learned man as a child, and they was looking at him all crazy, like, how are you able to break down this kind of knowledge? Like who? So his whole life, where's the information? Where's the documentary? You know how many documentaries we got about so many lesser people, but the greatest man that lived, we have so little of his life. So it comes to a point where you can even start to discredit his life. And people say, well, Jesus ain't real and all this. No, Jesus is real. But because they give you so much of it, so much of it's been filtered out, or you're only getting this much of it. It's so easy to say, "Oh, that's bull," you know. But it's so much of it. It's like if you can understand his whole life and they give you the whole story, then you'll get it. But you don't understand it because they haven't given you the whole story. You know, he was trying to tell us that God is inside of us, and God is manifesting. If you understand that He's inside of you, and you quiet yourself and you pray and you meditate, He awakens inside of you, and He manifests movements. He manifests shifts in your reality. That's what the message was that Jesus was trying to give everybody. He was trying to tell us that, by him telling us that, that's you empower people when you tell them something like that. Especially if you were a man doing miracles and doing all these things. And they said, well, if he's saying that's how you do it, and he was doing miracles and taking a piece of fish and feeding 80 people, and just this man was healing the blind and all kind of stuff. Like, if he said do that, I'm gonna do it. So that's why they took a lot of that story and they broke it apart, and they only give us a little piece. They gave us enough of his life to where you don't have the control and you don't know that God's inside of you. You think another part of the reality is true. They discredited his reality and what he was teaching us. So I understand that. All right. And Jesus wasn't the only person who came to try to teach those realities. You had a man named like Prophet Muhammad. You had on the Buddha. You had other prophets in different parts of the world and different religions, which created these religions. Because everybody got a story to tell. If I heard a story and I live in the west coast of Africa, then I'm gonna tell my story based on the west coast of Africa information and knowledge and what makes sense. And if I'm got the God connected to me over here in the Asia, then I'm gonna give my story according to how the Asian culture is gonna go. But they're all talking about God, And I see, I understand that we have 100 religions praising one God. And they all swear they are against each other. Or they all swear, well, you ain't doing it right. And if you ain't praising to this, if you ain't praising it like this, if you ain't praising it like that, you can't get to heaven. There's only one way to get to heaven. That's my way. That's it. That's what people really think. People think that if you ain't in my church, I ain't gonna see you in heaven. If you ain't in my mosque, I ain't gonna see you in heaven. If you ain't in my synagogue, I ain't gonna see you in heaven. Well, they're gonna be surprised if they get there. They'll be surprised when they get there, baby, because there's a little bit of everybody up in there, man. And I had this spiritual. I'm gonna tell you about this spiritual experience I had, right? And this is how I understand this. I had a spiritual experience where I actually asked God, so who has it right? Who has it right? Like, what religion has it right? Like, is it the Muslims or the Christians? Or because I was at a point where I couldn't fathom that God would create all of us and then pick a favorite and kill everybody else. like, like, my God wouldn't do that. So I don't know what religion you come from, but if you think your God would do that, then that's your belief. You can believe whatever you want to believe. That's your truth, whatever the case may be. But I wouldn't. Growing up, I never accepted that. I never can think that God would create 1,000,000 people and keep 10 million and kill the other 90 million people because they prayed on a different day or a different whatever. You know what you understand. So we don't get into that. But during this spiritual experience, it was telling me like it put it in a parable for me so I could understand. And the spirit was telling me like, imagine you're a father, right? And on Monday, you're an old man. You're 80-year-old father. You done had a whole bunch of children. You're living by yourself. You're old man living in a big old house by yourself. And on Monday, your son comes and he takes you to the barbershop, hang out with you, get your hair all cut. And then on Tuesday, your daughter comes and, she takes you to bingo night. You love bingo. Old man love bingo. daughter take you to bingo night, take you out to dinner. You know, you love your daughter. And then on Wednesday, your second son comes and he may take you to the racetrack. You know, you always love the racetracks. Years, years. Your son knows you love it. So y'all have that bond. You and your son go to the racetrack every Wednesday. You know, Thursday, your youngest daughter comes and, you know, her and daddy just want to take do little fishing trips next to the harbor, and they go fishing every other Thursday or whatever the case may be. Then on Friday, your last son comes and he may take you to do all your shopping and, you know, get all your appointments, your medical appointments and everything, you know, take care of you, you know. So then on Saturday, you turn that old man and you look him dead in his face and you say, pick one child and we're going to kill all the other ones. Now, who's your favorite? Which one you kill? I mean, which one you let live? Everybody else got to die. So out of all those kids who everybody came and showed you all that different love, all different 5 different ways they loved you. It don't matter how they ain't do it the same way. They show different love 5 different ways. So now you're gonna ask one person, I'm gonna let you live, but everybody else gotta die. So who gotta die? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday? Which child gets to live rather? That's what religions are telling people. That's God's judgment. That's how God rolls. That He's going to kill the other 4 and keep the one. So when I asked the spirit this, it didn't even give me the answer. It just left me at that point and it asked me that question, like, all right, so on Saturday, which one you let live and what 4 do you kill? And it left me with that. And by me just feeling that spirit, the answer just came through my body. I just get it. I understand that there. Like, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. Nah, we all Now God loves us all. Like He loves us all as those children. Like I get it. Like no one religion. Like it's love. Like I understand. Like you will get it. You will understand it. You know. So break down barriers. Break down barriers that contain you. Break down philosophies that restrict you. Break down customs that no longer serve or outdated. And B, love. That's it. It's the message.